Thanks to those joining me live. To those that'll be joining me on Archive, D-Style here. Check it out. Right. Check this out. Let me bring this up really quick. If you're listening on Archive, thumbs up the video. Also, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. And hit that notification button. That way you're notified every time D-Style comes on live. Check it out. Right. Eddie Hearn is a weasel, man. Right? Eddie Hearn is one of the biggest weasels I have ever seen. Right? And that's saying something when we're talking about the sport of boxing. Okay? It's saying a lot. This guy, right? You know what annoys me about Eddie Hearn? You know what gets on my nerves about this guy? Besides the fact that he's a weasel, it's how he just has to have an opinion about everything. Okay? Eddie Hearn needs to have an elaborate opinion about everything, but he likes to do this thing where he just plants seeds of doubt and he plants things that don't need to be planted, right? No one has to question certain things, but they end up questioning things because Eddie Hearn set them, right? So earlier today, I was listening to an interview, and shout out to the Boxing Voice, and you could listen to the full interview there. But Ness was interviewing Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn likes to do this thing where, you know, he's like one of us. You know, he does the "I'm one of you" trick, right? That's what he does, and he does it so well. I mean, hell, there was moments where he had Ness, and I'm just gotta be honest, he had Ness a little mesmerized at times. Even Ness was like questioning Shelly Finkel at times. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I myself question why Shelly Finkel said that. And, look, and that's fine, but Eddie Hearn is good at what he does. You got to give the guy credit, right? I mean, this guy will put a spin to anything. Anything. Okay? So let's take the Joshua Wilder fight, right? People ask him, Eddie, Joshua said that he is going to fight, that they're going to make the fight happen, that he just signed the fight. Well, I mean, that's great. You know, people think I'm against the fight, but I'm not really against the fight. See, in our reality, I'm all for the fight. I mean, in our reality, if the fight happens, good for them. You know, and then he follows it up with a backhanded compliment. Props to the Wilder team if they can actually pull this off, because Joshua isn't ready. Fury isn't ready. Fury is in no position at all to fight. But if they could pull this off, props to them. So immediately, all right, this is what he does. This is what Eddie Hearn does so well. And then he'll fall, and then he'll keep, he's like, what I said was that I doubt the fight happens because it just doesn't make sense to make the fight. But if they pull it off, more power to them. But I just don't see why they're making the fight right now. Fury isn't ready. Fury is just not in a good position to fight. Fury he needs like 7, 8, 9 more fights. Whatever. Look, Eddie Hearn doesn't want this fight to happen, right? He's not going to tell you. You got to read between the lines with Eddie Hearn, right? You got to read between when it comes to Eddie Hearn, you have to learn how to, it's like eating fish. You got to take out those bones sometimes, all right? You got to spit out the bones of Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn, all right, will have you nodding your head if you're not careful, All right, because he's a trickster. Now, once you know what he's doing, it's easy to catch it. All right. Because I like see he's really good at what he does. Eddie Hearn, man, he'll like butter dudes up, like, oh yeah, I support what you do. I'm not doing the zone for me. The zone isn't for me. The zone is for you. Because if the zone does great, then you do great. You know what he would tell DStyle? He'll tell me if the zone is successful, then your channel becomes more successful by default. So in all reality, I'm doing this for you. I'm doing it for all of you. I'm not doing it for me. Look, man, Eddie Hearn is a lying weasel, right? He's going around with no proof whatsoever, saying that he doubts, right? First of all, he was insinuating very strongly that the fight's not going to happen, okay? And coincidentally, when he was saying these things, you had members of the boxing media running around saying the fight's not going to happen, or the fight's in jeopardy, or Tyson Fury is having doubts about this fight, right? There's a doubt, the famous Dan Rafael story that he put out saying a source told him that Tyson Fury is not going to go through with the fight with Wilder, right? Now, you would think, right, that he would reach out to Wilder and his team for an official response. That's what a responsible journalist would do. But no, right? Look, let me tell you something, man. If you give Dan Rafael, right, a discount to the Red Lobster, that dude will do anything for you. Okay, if you give Dan Rafael, okay, a free coupon, okay, to the Golden Corral, Dan Rafael will write whatever article you want, and he will say a source told me. Now, look, there's nothing wrong with anonymous sources, by the way. You need anonymous sources in order for things to leak out, especially important information, right? But when it's a pattern of constant material that is not correct, then you learn, all right, that a lot of times it's just making this up when they say they got a source. That there has to be, like, if you say a source told me this, it's got to be true, man. Because you might get one pass, but if you constantly keep saying a source told me, and your sources are continuously wrong, then there's something wrong with that, okay? Now, the thing is, it's one thing if you get a source that tells you something. If you have a direct connection to a fighter or his team, then you contact the team and you get an official response from them, right? I mean, it's not that complicated. It's not that complicated, folks. It really isn't. But back to Eddie Hearn. See, let me tell you something about Hearn, man. Like he'll go in, right? Like he'll walk into like a media circle, right? And even if they start with like hard questions, like, Eddie, why'd you duck the $50 million offer, Eddie? And by the end, like within 10 minutes, these dudes will be laughing it up with Eddie Hearn. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, like they'll be getting along with Eddie Hearn. Okay, Eddie Hearn would be giving them backhanded compliments. They wouldn't even know it, right? I mean, Eddie Hearn will have these dudes laughing it up and oh, ha, ha, ha. And when the whole thing's over, like, holy shit, I got no information. I didn't get an answer to my question. Eddie Hearn, right? The Joshua Wilder fight, folks, looks like it's going to get done, right? It looks like this fight is going to get done. It looks like Fury versus Wilder is a reality. And let me tell you something that Eddie Hearn has successfully done, right? Eddie Hearn and his antics have successfully done the following. It's put everything Hearn is saying and the way he says things when he talks about this fight are deliberately done, okay? They're well calculated. So one, notice if the fight does happen, right? If it does happen, and we know the inevitable, I think most of us agree that Wilder's going to win, although there's some people picking Fury, but I think Wilder's going to win this fight. And he's going to probably win by knockout. Well, he's already planted the seed that, well, and you're already hearing people say this shit. Oh, well, Fury wasn't ready. Fury isn't 10% of what he used to be. He's a shell of his former self. And he needed way a lot more time. And right? And if it does happen, he's not going to say, oh, I was wrong. Mark my words. He's not going to say, I was completely wrong about that. My assumptions were incorrect. No, because he's already said he hopes it happens. Right? Because he talks with different ends of his mouth. Right? So he's also said that if the fight happens and Wilder wins, it's a good thing because it will prop up the fight with Joshua. Right? It'll make the Joshua fight bigger. Right? Like, oh, if I assume that if Wilder wins, I mean, it will make the fight with Joshua even bigger. You know, as a fan, I don't like the fight, but as a promoter, I love the fight. You know, he wants to be like different people. He wants to be a fan. He wants to be a promoter. He wants to be a pal. He wants he's a chameleon. This dude literally will tell you in front of your face, right, that he's taking different stances on something. Right. And even guys that have been critical on Hearn don't call him out on it in the middle of the interview because they have no idea. They're falling for it. That's what's happening. So he's also said that it's a good thing to promote Wilder versus Fury. I'm sorry, Wilder versus Joshua. You know, so he's also said that. And then of course he said that he doubts the fight will happen. Right. So the fight doesn't happen. He's going to say, I told you so. See, I knew all along. I told you guys. You know, when I was telling you that the fight wasn't going to happen, you know, I had good reason to believe that. I'm Eddie Hearn. Okay, I make sense. If the fight does happen, well, look, I just suspected that it might not happen because it made no sense. You saw what happened. Fury got knocked out. But as a promoter, I love it, though, because it's going to make the Joshua Wilder fight even bigger. So Eddie Hearn will always put himself in a position where his word means nothing. All right? So he can't tell you, look, guys, I'm telling you, this fight's not going to happen. I guarantee you it's not going to happen. Like if Hearn knew for a fact that this fight wasn't going to happen, he wouldn't be talking about, oh, well, if it does happen, it's good for me, and I hope it does happen. He wouldn't be saying any of that. He just wants to put himself in notice, no matter what happens, he's going to be able to say, I told you so. Like, no matter what happens. You can't let the guy get away with that. Come on now. Right? Now, but that's it. Another thing, Eddie Hearn has also planted the seed of expectations on not the results of the fight, but the results of the finances of the fight, right? He's already planted, like, according to Eddie Hearn, if the fight, and no, he'll never say, like, Eddie Hearn won't say it this way. He won't go, if Wilder gets 1 million buys, then we'll do the 50-50. All right? Like, that's not how he says it, okay? He'll say like well, you know, the fight is successful, and then he follows it up with a bunch of mumbo jumbo, and then he'll be like, you know, if it does, let's say it does 1 million. I don't think it'll do 1 million, but let's say it does 1 million. Then at that point, yes, we could consider 50-50. But consider? Wait, what? So now notice what he's done. He's already put practically an impossible task for Wilder to have a 50-50 claim for this fight with Joshua. And that's why this guy's a weasel, right? So now you have people talking about Eddie Hearn has set the bar so high to 1 million that now you have even Wilder fans saying, oh, come on, Eddie. If he does 720 1,000 buys at least. Like I'm just like, what are you guys talking about? That is insane. Like 1,000,000 buys is not normal. Like it's not easy to get 1,000,000 buys, guys. Right? It's not like an everyday thing. I know we had Mayweather around for a while, so it kind of makes it seem that way, but that's not the way it is, right? If this fight gets 400,000, that it's a success, all right? But the bar has been like he's planted the seed of expectations. Then now the discussion is around the $1 million mark. What are you talking about? Now, first of all, if Fury versus Wilder is 1,000,000 buys, it's over. All right, Wilder's the A side. It's not even close. It's laughable to even talk about, who would be the A side at that point. That's laughable. But that's not that is a horrible seed of expectations to set up. People talking about 1,000,000 buys and like what? None of these guys have ever been on US pay-per-view. We shouldn't even be talking about. We honestly don't know. It could be a flop. It could be a success. We don't know because they've never fought on pay-per-view. It is a little bit of a risk if we're honest. But at the end of the day, setting this terrible expectation. Think about it. If the fight does 250,000, right? I mean, that's going to bring in a lot of money. And at $70 a pop, because that's $69.99 in HD, that is a lot of money, right? But what's going to happen? Oh, yeah. Well, he did okay. I mean, that was all right. It wasn't the 1,000,000, but it was okay. That's what they're going to say. Now, if somebody were to ask me, DStyle, how much do you think this fight's going to make? Pay-per-view buys, right? Wilder versus Fury, right? We have to be realistic, right? Like, we really do. Outside of a Mayweather, it's hard to really see. I mean, Canelo recently got over 1,000,000 without Mayweather. It's hard to say, guys, right? Cotto was a big name, and he couldn't get those type of numbers by himself, right? So I think anything over 200,000 makes it a success, right? I'm looking at, if I'm realistic, like 200 to 300,000 would be my estimate, and that would actually be very, very good, right? I know I just think a lot of people have unrealistic expectations, but that's another story. But I think Eddie Hearn is aware of this, and that's why he's planting this whole 1,000,000 thing in people's heads. So if let's say Wilder Fury does like if it surpasses expectations, like if it does 500,000, which is possible with the right promotion, it can happen, right? I don't think it will, but let's say it does like anywhere from 450,000 to 500,000. That would be huge, right? But the bar has been set so high in people's heads now. People are expecting 1,000,000 or more than that. That is crazy. Like if Wilder could get to 500,000, it's over. He's the biggest heavyweight star in the world, bar none. All right. We don't have to set the bar as high as Eddie Hearn has set it. That's Eddie Hearn conveniently wanting to keep the public, right, thinking that that Joshua will remain number one as far as the A side, if as long as Wilder doesn't do more than 1,000,000 buys. That is ridiculous, right? That is insane, and that is stupid. Okay. So what else I can see here? See some people in the chat here. The truth. What's up, man? You got Tio. Hearns is a snake oil salesman. I agree. Dan the man doubts equals hopes. Yeah, he hopes it doesn't happen. What's up to Damian Hennix? Hulk Hogan, fucking weasel. All right. Darian, I am King Irvin D Style. Shoot me a link. I'll shoot you a link. Are they making 20 million each or something else? I have nobody knows what the guys are making. I don't think that's been released. All right. I know Eddie Hearn is throwing numbers around like he knows, but Eddie Hearn doesn't know. All right. Eddie Hearn doesn't know shit, folks. He doesn't know anything. Stop believing everything Eddie Hearn tells you, okay? Darius, I need your email. Yeah, we definitely need an email, bro. But back to you, Hulk Hogan. I have no idea. The fight happens. I honestly don't care, but um, I'm pretty sure they're going to make a good amount of money. I'm pretty sure about that. I think the narrative of Wilder's only made 2 million, so blah 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 blah. Like that narrative's going to end. Okay. Is Darius still alive? Is he still there? Because I need your email, bro. If you want on. Maybe Darius is gone. Maybe he's gone away or something. I'm not sure, but so we think about it here. Let's be very conservative with these estimates, so kind of have an idea, okay? Let's say the fight does 300,000 buys, okay? Let's kind of go with that. And at 69.99 and 670 bones, right? That's $21 million on the table, all right? If you let's say there's about a 2 million site fee, okay, just for the sake of it, we're up to 23 million, and then let's say another million. I'm just being conservative here, right, for advertisers and all that. We're up to 24 million. And then, of course, the gate. Let's say, again, we're going to be conservative here. Let's say the gate makes 10 million. You know what? Let's say 8 million, right? We're talking about $32 million that are there, right? So I'm not sure if the 20 million a piece holds up, right? But that's being very, very conservative with the numbers, right? That's not counting other factors, but we'll kind of just stick with that. It's a lot of money right there, but that's being very conservative. But that's a lot of money, so no doubt, both guys can go away easily with over 10 million for sure. But the question is how the split going to work. I'm not sure. 50-50 split could happen. I mean, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure everything is based on and stuff like that. Plus, I mean, the fight can always make more than these estimates. I was being very conservative with my estimates, so it looks like Darius is not there, so I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll, guys. All right. If I don't get a response in 1 minute, I'm gonna roll out. Simple as that. One more shout out to Darius. Are you there? What if Fury wins? Would it be an upset? Yeah, it would be an upset. It would. I wouldn't even. I wouldn't even be mad. It is what it is. Fury will have a lot to say to his doubters. That's for sure. All right, guys. I'm out. Peace.